under 1 pound, actually. Very lightweight. And for her, if I were to separate the bones, the feathers, and the flesh, her feathers would weigh the most of all 3 components. Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
Now see how long her wings are compared to her tail? That's much different than the red-tailed hawk, whose tail well outlengthed the wings. See the flutter? Just as she came in to stop and the tail fanned out, tucked under like a brake system, and dropped her feet at the last minute. Fantastic flying machine. Now, she doesn't fly in search of food. Owls are going to use hearing and eyesight more so from a standing position before they go to retrieve their food. It's only when they retrieve it that they're actually in motion or in action. Because owls aren't going to waste their time flying around looking for food the way a hawk would, or say a turkey vulture circling and soaring, trying to pick up a scent of something dead. For her, she's looking and listening for the activity from a standing position rather than waste any energy. You can see just how solitary and sedentary this animal sort of appears, because that way they're going to look, listen, sort of pivot the head, listening for every little nuance of sound. Do you know, in a barn, they can hear the heartbeat of a mouse on the barn floor.
Wow.
Close proximity. All right,
what's
should we
her
try
name?
one more? Her name is Jazz.
Oh, nice, okay.
Just a fantastic creature, and obviously we have a beautiful time of day because there's no other crazy people coming out in this heat, right?
Did you actually signal that she should fly now, or did she?
For that, I direct my glove to release her, and she's so seasoned. But generally, when we direct a bird to come to the glove, we use a physical cue, but she was trained with a verbal cue, which is a click. So you'll hear me do a little, sort of a little clicking sound to attract her down. Generally, you click as the bridge to the reinforcer when she does a good behavior. But she usually responds to the click ahead of time.
So she's eating chicken as well, right?
Today she is. She gets mice quite often,
Okay.
but we're using baby roosters because they're cheaper and they help to supplement the cost of the more expensive food items, like rodent. Rodent can be very pricey.
Yeah.
And then I'm just giving little tidbits of food, because if I give her a big chunk of food,
Yeah.
she won't need to come at all. Can you see that she has no feathers on her feet? That is the only owl in Ontario. We have 11 species, the only owl without feathered toes. So it tells us that this creature can't insulate well through an Ontario winter. So it's part of the reason that barn owls are now considered a critically endangered species. They are not a species that is capable of surviving the Ontario winter the way that many of the other owls are quite equipped. Bald eagle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bald
They
eagle,
sound
is
like a big gull,
Oh,
right? Like a big,
sounded like
yeah. And if you think of it like a seagull, kind of a,
Yeah.
because they're a sea bird, right? Eagles are seabirds. So I'm just going to give Jazz a big food reward now, sort of her last piece, and I'll see if she'll give us a bit of a barn owl call.
Okay.
A barn owl call is sort of a scream. They don't hoot. Only your big-bodied owls can hoot, like Chomper, who would say, but of course, smaller owls make different sounds, and barn owls have a really cool sound.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
That's the barn owl sound.
Whoa. She's pretty strong for 1 pound.
Oh, she's incredibly strong. Don't let the size or weight deceive anyone. And it's gone. Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
Seconds.
Quick. All right, well, I'm going to take Miss Jazz back, and I'm just going to introduce one more quick friend, if you're okay with just another 5 minutes.
Sure, sure.
And then
We are
we'll-
fine. Good, good,
Okay.
good, good.
You're in this like,
I know. The next one might allow me to tolerate some.
yeah, sure.